bases dropped. The guy actually got it right. He hid things when he was supposed to. Bases dropped on a Freestyle Friday here at Soccer Down Here. Thanks for hanging out with us. Remember, the early starts on Friday are to make sure that we can get the weekend whip-around, patent pending trademark coming hopefully soon, to give you all of the information that you need for your MLS weekend before our visit from Beyond Goals at 9:30. And then after that, it ends up wrapping up the weekend. We have Champions League to talk about, that draw. We have the Europa League draw that happened this morning. And it is got about another 15 minutes as we're talking because of the television production elements that were attached to it. So the draw for Europa League happened this morning, and we will go from there. So it looks like it is going to be Michael Parkhurst hanging out with us this morning with our friends at Beyond Goals. So Cap will do a back-to-back with us, and so it'll be really cool to have Michael Parkhurst in this morning to talk about things as we continue to go forward. And no, it'll be fun. So Greg's doing some really cool stuff this morning, and so we'll catch up with him on the flip side of that and find out what was going on with him next week. So Michael Parkhurst will be hanging out with us at 9:30, and so this is why I'm trying to multitask right now and try to figure out what the show is going to look like. So it looks like Michael Parkhurst will be hanging out with us instead of Greg Garza this morning for our friends at Beyond Goals. So it's going to be really cool to catch up with him. And so all the news that's fit to print will come in after 10 o'clock with our friends at Beyond Goals. So Champions League, Europa League, I think Europa Conference League is going on right now. Thank you, Bam, for the heads up on that. So everything is just kind of blending together. So Europa Conference League, we'll have all the info for that, all of your transfers, all of the news to get you ready for the weekend that will be in England and the Premier League. We'll go over those juice box numbers. So a lot of juice box numbers to go over this morning, and it will be fun to do that. Thanks for everybody who is hanging out already out of the blocks this morning. And so what we're going to do is tell you what, let's go into the Twitch pitch and see what you guys have early out of the blocks. So Shooter picked Leeds to be my English team. Now everyone's bandwagoning them. I want out. I need a new team. Chat, no Manchester City or Chelsea. So Shooter's looking for a new team in the Premier League. And I guess the question for you, Shooter, is in a team, what are you looking for? Characteristically, are you looking for someone who's, hanging out? Are they there just to survive? Or are they there chasing titles of any description? So, what are you? Do you like the lovable loser? Do you like the up and comer? That's kind of what we're getting at. So, Shooter, let us know what you're looking at when it comes. Okay, chasing but sucks. Okay, so chasing but sucks. So that's what Shooter is looking for. So, folks, that's your assignment this morning. Find Shooter a team in the Premier League that's chasing but sucks. Let's see, that might be West Ham, maybe. I don't know. First thought off the top of my head, someone who was outside the top 7 and has been doing something like that. So someone out West Ham maybe, but their fans fans remind you of Philly. Okay, Rich Ransom, that's your shot in for a Shooter this morning. All right, so chasing but not quite getting there. So it sounds like West Ham might be the early contender. I'd stick with Leeds. I think they're a fun bunch, but that's just me. Alex Basine says, sorry, can't recommend Eddie Howe's Tricky Mags then. Niall is suggesting maybe Leicester. So that's a discussion. So we need an answer for Shooter by the end of the show. Shooter, who are you choosing? And maybe you just wait through the juice boxes and we'll figure out what's going on there with all your juice boxes. And then maybe that can give you the lean that you're looking for. Maybe a Nottingham Forest, first time in the Prem in a very long time. Steve Cooper, with all of the investment that they've had. Somebody new, since you were liking Leeds with Bielsa and now with Jesse Marsch. So maybe somebody new. So we'll see. All right. So that's one of the questions to the floor, and we'll keep an eye on that this morning. So once again, thanks for everybody for helping Shooter out, trying to find his new Premier League side. All right, so let's see what you guys have this morning. Yes, Bam, time to see who Mamadou Fall gets to play. So we'll see what that is with Mamadou Fall now being loaned out to L.A. And the other piece of news, yes, Villarreal. So Fall to Villarreal. It was kind of rumored, kind of worst kept secret, kind of like Brian Rodriguez, but now no longer a secret and heading in that direction. So, what and this was a conversation. Shooter, yeah, they've invested over £100 million in bringing in, I think, 16 or 17 players. So they've gone. Yeah, Brighton, that's another good one, Niall. But yeah, Nottingham has invested over 9 figures to bring in 16 players. So I think that what they might be doing is leveraging their TV dollars to bring in all their talent. But like I said, somebody new. Yeah, Alex, 150 million in the window. Shooter from Emilio, not into the easy big money teams myself unless I live in that city. That's why he picked Everton. Might be dropping him because he's liking Forest to replace. So he doesn't want some cheap team that operates like the Rays. Yikes. Okay. So I think we're getting close. We're getting close. So it might be Brighton, might be West Ham, might even be Forest from the lane 8. So we'll see what's going on there. But yep. So Mamadou Fall has now officially been loaned. If you missed it yesterday, go and catch the conversation that Nico Moreno and I had about LAFC. And neither of us are all that enthusiastic about LAFC right now. And it's you see all of these maneuvers, and is it change for the sake of change just because we can? Those kinds of things. So that was a really interesting conversation that we had when we were talking about Major League Soccer out west. And so catch that over on the network. Don't forget to download the Soccer Down Here app, available iOS and Android. Okay, so time for the opening kickoff, brought to us by our friends at Kickoff Coffee, kickoffcoffeeco.com. And you can also follow along on Twitter, on Facebook, and on Instagram as I turn the QR code here for those of you watching on Twitch on the video version. So there's your QR code, kickoffcoffeeco.com, kickoffcoffeeco on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram. So this morning, and I know that I'm kind of being nitpicky about things. The opening kickoff, once again, use the code SoccerDownHere15 to get 15% off of your purchase for everything going on at Kickoff Coffee, and they in turn take 10% and roll it over into youth initiatives. So very, very cool what we're doing with our friends at Kickoff Coffee, and can't thank them enough for everything that they are doing. So this morning and yesterday, the draws, and like I said, I know I'm nitpicking about these kinds of things, and I know that folks have to, have their TV dollars and their TV impact and their TV input and all this kind of stuff. But we had the draw for the Europa League and the Europa Conference League this morning. Had the draw for the Champions League yesterday. Why can't we just have the draw instead of the 35 minutes of pomp and circumstance where we get to talk and maybe sit there and have a musical act or two? And I know that I admit that I'm a bit of a fuddy-duddy because most of the musical acts that we have in these shows I've never heard of them. And I'm just a fan of, tell me the groups, tell me what's going on, tell me who's up, tell me who's got stuff, and tell me who's going to be playing who. Just get right into it. I know you've got to have pomp and circumstance, and I know I'm being a nitpicky dude this morning, but just give me my matchups right out of the blocks. You can have all of the music and all of the stuff with with all of the acts and all of the talk and all the previewing and everything. If you had all of your groups and you just had all your information, you put that at the beginning of the show, your ratings at the beginning of the show would be off the charts. And yes, I know the ratings would be like this, and then they would go completely and totally downhill. But I know what you're trying to do if you're, if you're the producer of the show. You want to build, you want to maintain, you want to sit there and have all of your interest, and then after the 45-minute window, then you want to sit there and have your downswing. So we have these shows, and Yes, Michael Head. Thank you. It's why I refuse to watch the unveiling shows. I just wait until an hour after the launch and get the info on the web. I know. Right there with you. Can't we just have the teams off the top and then have your celebration afterwards? Please. Teams off the top. Just give me my groups, give me my matchups, give me my window, tell me when things are going to happen, and then turn around and sit there and have your musical groups. And hey, as a celebration for insert tournament here, we have Gen Z group, coming out here, international act so-and-so to come out here and talk. So that's just me. Like I said, I might be in the minority. Michael Head and I might be in the minority for this thing. But just give me my picks off the top, and I admit that I might be curmudgeonly about all this kind of stuff. But in tournaments that are like this, where we like to sit here and have all the projections, give me my info early. Give me my info early so I can sit here and nope. Is he struggling? Let me sit here and let me go back and flip to it. Let me see what we've got here. So. Phase of the groups for the Europa League. Okay, so I'm with you. All right, so now I have the Europa Conference League draw up, what's left of it, and Vaduz has just been selected. So Bam's telling me the guy doing the draw was struggling to open the content, and so that's when, of course, I naturally roll over. AZ Alkmaar, Limassol, and Vaduz are in Group E. So we're going to still got some work to do when it comes to these groups, because if we're still trying to figure out the third teams in these groups, as Shamrock Rovers has now just been pulled. But now, give me my teams. Give me my teams. Michael did relent. Watch the World Cup City announcement. That was sort of exciting. But it's because we had local interest. We were attached to it, and so I could understand why that. Emilio, without pomp, you might as well at ESPN do it and wait until the previous program finishes. Yeah, I mean, that's. But when you're controlling the information, when you get to control the information, I think that you get to kind of control the rundown. Draw shows can only bother you if you watch them. Colonel, of course. Five Strike. Totally uninterested in European soccer. Might watch a match occasionally, but meh. I mean, that's understandable. We all have our own likes and dislikes. But no, the biggest thing for me, like I said, I'm curmudgeonly, and I admit it. Just give me my teams off the top so we can have all the fun and the analysis and all of the projections off of the end of that, because then you can get your punditry in after your games, work your way forward, all these kinds of things. So here's how I would structure my show. Hi, we're here. Quick look at the teams. Get into your groups. Here's your draw. Then blow through the draw, in the format that we traditionally see in these tournaments. Then you have your pundits come on, sit there and talk about it. And then, or maybe your musical act, and then they talk about it some more, and then another act, and they talk about it some more to fill up your space. That's just me. So once again, the curmudgeon comes to the show here on a Freestyle Friday. So that's the opening kickoff, hoping that we can get group talk before a lot of the pomp and circumstance. Just wishing that they'd flip the rundown a little bit. That's the opening kickoff. Brought to us by our friends at Kickoff Coffee. KickoffCoffeeCO.com. And you can follow along at Kickoff Coffee CO on the Twitters, on the FaceSpace, and on the Instagram. Here's your QR code. Let me turn it so my hand doesn't get in the way for those of you watching on Twitch. Once again, thanks to our friends at Kickoff Coffee. Kickoff Coffee CO. You can invest in Kickoff Coffee. You can buy your Kickoff Coffee. Use the code SoccerDownHere15 and spell it out. SoccerDownHere15. Get you 15% off of your purchase. And then when you turn around, they in turn sit there and take 10% and reinvest into youth initiatives. Very, very cool stuff brought to us by our friends at Kickoff Coffee. And so once again, here at the top of the hour on a Friday, it's time for this guy, Jarrett Smith. Good morning.
Good morning.
The opening kickoff this morning, I went ahead and I was just like, we have the awards shows going on right now.
Yes.
I think we're in Europa Conference League, and apparently
it just takes so damn long. It's unnecessarily long.
And that was my point this morning for the opening kickoff. It's like, why can't we just go ahead and have the draw up front? Then you can have your punditry, and then maybe your musical act, more punditry, then another act. Give me my music. Give me my music at the end. Give me my teams up front. Otherwise, it's not spending 90 minutes trying to sit there and figure out 32 teams in two separate tournaments.
Yeah, and this is the same thing they did during the World Cup when they did the World Cup draw. I don't need musical numbers. I just need to know who I need to be sad about playing.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I care about. If you want to bring former players who have won awards up to do the draw, okay, give the 10-minute lesson behind the stage on how to unscrew a ball.
There you go.
Because that doesn't ever seem to get done efficiently. Like, I'm always blown away when you do these sorts of things. How many people cannot unscrew a plastic ball?
Yes.
Like, they're just sitting there fiddling. They're like, righty tighty, lefty loosey.
Exactly.
I don't care about all. And I know UEFA. I know you have your whole entire thing that you have to do. You have to whitewash everything and make it all bright and shiny, as if you're not doing a bunch of shady stuff all the time, or possibly holding your championship in war-torn areas, or getting in bed with unsavory folks. I know you have your thing that you're doing.
Yes.
But my God, just tell me who people are playing. That's all I care about. Just give me an excuse to be upset about the fact that, oh, Bayern's playing Barcelona. Who could have seen that one coming? No one. That's who. Never
Yes.
in a million years would we have expected that one.
Yeah. So, programming judgment call. Since Michael Parkhurst is coming up at the bottom of the hour for the standard Beyond Goals, do you want to do Weekend Whip Around now, or do you want to come back at 10 o'clock and do Weekend Whip Around, and we'll talk about Champions League, Europa League, and other stuff until then?
Let's just do it now if you want. We can just speed run it, and then we'll do it. We'll do it Price is Right style.
Okay.
And
all right.
If we have to stop, we'll stop.
Okay. Well, no, I think that we had a pretty decent run yesterday when Nico and I were doing it for Thursdays with Nico. All right. So tonight, Friday Night Football, we've got two good ones. Austin hosting LAFC at 8 o'clock Eastern at Q2. LAFC is a plus 134. Austin at home is a home dog in this one, which I found rather interesting. At plus 175-ish, depending on your juice box purveyor. Your draws a plus 273. 8 o'clock kick, fun facts. Visiting side has won 3 of the 4 meetings between Austin and LAFC, including a pair of victories against the Black and Gold by the Black and Gold at Q2 last year. LAFC is the only visiting team to win twice at Austin, with a 2-0 victory last July and a 2-1 win last September. Austin's recent home matches have been wild. That's what MLS Soccer has put in the wording. Total of 20 goals being scored over the last 3, 10-4, 10 against. Austin's the second team in MLS history to both score and concede at least 3 goals in 3 straight home matches, after the Union did so in 2014. Despite Saturday's loss at San Jose, LAFC is still around the pace they need to set the points record, 57 through 26. LAFC had 4 more at this stage when they set the record in 2019, though the Revs had 1 fewer point at this stage when they broke the mark last year. What say you, Jarrett Smith?
I say if it's at Q2, give me Austin, because Austin at this point has some devil magic going on. It's enjoyable devil magic, but it's devil magic nevertheless. Give me Austin in this one. And it's not, LAFC is still going to be on a stupid good pace. They'll still be able to coast, as we all know. Austin kind of defanged them last time they played. Give me Austin.
Well, in LAFC, Rodriguez out, worst kept secret. Mamadou Fall loaned, not necessarily a worst kept secret, but nevertheless anticipated. Now you've got more players coming in, and the point that Nico and I were making yesterday on Thursdays with Nico on his third cup of coffee, it seems more and more like LAFC is just making moves to sit there and go, yeah, we're making moves because we can. And now all of a sudden you're getting new dudes coming in, and I think that you could have chemistry problems working your way forward with LAFC as they make their push. I think that it's a dangerous game they're playing, especially when you look at chemistry, pushing for a playoff berth, and what you want to accomplish. And I still think you can out-physical LAFC out west. That's just me. So, I mean,
no, I don't disagree, and part of my thing with that is the Rodriguez. I'm exhausted by the whole Rodriguez argument about them moving to Club America. I'm like, they had to get rid of him somewhere. Everywhere else they sent him had been an absolute mess. The fact they got anything for him is just, I mean, I don't know if they made profit on him, but you got him off your books, and at that point, when it's gone that bad everywhere he has gone, and he wanted to go back to Pennyroll, and you sent him on loan, and he was getting in arguments, and everything was just a mess. Just at that point, you get him off the books, and you go from there.
Brought him in at 11.5, and sent him packing for 6. So
yeah, I mean, that's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Like when you go big, like some of these teams do in MLS, Atlanta, LAFC, Dallas. Maybe if this is a new era for them, bringing in guys like Velasco. Mm-hmm. For these teams that are going to spend like that, and I know I'm forgetting plenty of them, but sometimes you're going to miss. It's a part of it.
Yeah.
And if you chastise everyone who misses, I despise that, because then what are you telling people, that it's bad to go for it because you have to bat 1,000 every time? No one bats 1,000 always. It doesn't work that way. But people get really up in their feelings about the concept that you have to absolutely nail every transfer.
MLS After Dark tonight, Friday Night Football, Portland and Seattle. Portland at Providence Park, a +150. Seattle's a +158. This was closer yesterday. And your 90-minute draw is a +269. Fun facts for Cascadia here. This one's on ESPN, and they're going to say 10 o'clock off the top start. So doubleheader on ESPN at 8 and 10. Since the beginning of 2019, the home team has lost 8 of the 10 between the Timbers and the Sounders. No other MLS fixture has seen the visiting team record more than 5 wins in that span. Timbers have 33 points through 27. Portland's missed the playoffs in all 4 seasons, which it had fewer than 40 after 27, and while qualifying for the postseason in its other 6 full seasons, excluding 2020. Sounders have collected 7 points in their last 9 games, losing 6. Seattle's just 2 9-game spans in a single season, excluding overlapping spans in which it's collected fewer points. 5 from May to July 2012, and 3 from June to August 2015. What say you, Jarrett Smith?
Give me the draw here. This is going to be weird. Seattle is running out of time to turn the engine over. Portland is just kind of a mess in general. There's neither one are predictable. Give me the draw. Move on.
Okay, I'll take Portland in the win at home.
That's fine. I won't disagree.
On Saturday, Minnesota hosting Houston. Minnesota's a -30. Yep. To 7 o'clock. Charlotte and Toronto FC. Charlotte a +1.
Toronto.
You're taking Toronto on the road? Okay.
God love you, Charlotte. You're starting to show those cracks of an expansion team. Had a really good win a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
That New York City win is one that you should put in those record books of yours and be proud of. That's a great damn win. It genuinely is. Man, that being said, whew, you finally got something out of your DP that your front office was like, oh, he scored in Europe, he can score in MLS, that's no problem at all. Not always the same thing, man. Don't set your people up for failure. How about that?
There you go. I'll take the over. How about that?
That's not a bad idea. I think Charlotte will absolutely score goals, but it's going to be a little high scoring at times.
7 o'clock, Red Bulls and Inter Miami. Red Bulls are a -154. Inter Miami's a +392. Your draw's a +305. Do we need to go any further?
No.
Red
Bulls.
Hellas Reels at 7:30. FC Cincinnati.
Cincy, do it for me.
Cincinnati's a +117. Your draw's a +266, and Crew are a +210 heading to TQL with the newly minted contract expanded and extended Brandon Vasquez. US
Get it done with your monstrosity of whatever the hell food you consider Skyline chili. Do it for those of us that have taste buds and palates that work.
Also at 7:30, Philadelphia and Colorado. Philadelphia is a -164. Colorado's north of +410. Are we even talking any more about that one?
No.
8 o'clock, Chicago.
Well, we can, but we'd be wrong. It's a waste of damn time.
Yeah, Chicago is hosting CF Montreal, soon to be Impact, probably, hopefully. We're keeping Georgi Mihailovic till January. Chicago at home is a +131. Your draw is a +243. And CF Montreal on the road is a +200, which I find interesting. This one is 8 o'clock and 8:08 at Soldier Field. Fun fact, CF Montreal has won both of its matches against the Fire last season. Only the second time managed to beat Chicago multiple times in a single season was back in 2015. Only 3-match winning streak by either team in series history was a run of 3, and Montreal winning from 15 and 16. Fire lost for just the second time in their last 7 home matches. They've won 4. Back on Sunday, losing 2-0 to New York City FC. Chicago suffered consecutive home defeats only once since July of 2021, losing to the Red Bulls in Cincinnati in April and May of this year. CF Montreal, soon to be Impact, probably, hopefully, has already set club records this year for road points with 23, road wins with 7 in a single season. They've won their last 3 away matches for the first time. It's won 3 straight road matches in a single season in the club's MLS history. Let's say you, Jarrett Smith.
Montreal.
Yeah, that's where I'm going to. I think that Montreal gets the Duke there as well. 8:30, Children's Mercy Park in Kansas City. Sporting has found their offense, and they're going up against your Earthquakes. Sporting
it's Sporting here.
Yeah.
The Earthquakes powered up that super weapon long enough to beat LAFC, which Bam can attest to, because as we discussed, there's something about, like, San Jose sold their soul to antagonize LAFC for the foreseeable future. Problem is, when they empty out that super weapon, that railgun has to cool down before it can fire again. And now Sporting Kansas City has learned how to score goals. Now Sporting Kansas City still gives them up. Jeremy Obobisi might have a good day. Kate Cowell might have a good day. But I don't know if they can stop Sporting Kansas City from doing fun things with their offense. Good job, Kansas City. Proud of you. Now get a 6.
There you go. So I'll take the over in that one as well. I want the over in Sporting in San Jose. While I'm thinking about it, let me check the totals.
Until further notice, Sporting Kansas City is just an automatic over, man.
+3 is a -113. 3.5 is a +137. 4 is a +243. 4.5 is a +312. Yeah. 3.5 and above. Take it.
Oh, yeah. Remember, they've scored 3 in the first half, 3 straight games. First team in MLS history to do that.
Yes.
Which is wild. I would have honestly pegged one of the older super teams of yesteryear, or honestly even the LAFC team from 19 would have fit into that category for me personally, just because they were capable of doing that in their sleep.
Next up on the board, FC Dallas hosting Real Salt Lake, 9 o'clock at Toyota. FC Dallas is a -104. Your draw is a +262, and RSL's basically the same. Your composite has them at a +269 in this particular matchup. So FC Dallas at even money, fun facts. This one is on local TV, 908 Kick at Toyota. FC Dallas ended a 5-match winless run against RSL on July 23rd with a 1-0 away win. RSL's unbeaten in 4 straight matches in Dallas after avoiding defeat just 3 times in their first 17, losing 14, including the playoffs. FC Dallas's 4-0 loss at Nashville on Sunday, heaviest defeat in nearly 3 years since a 4-0 defeat in Chicago in September 2019. Dallas has suffered consecutive losses only once this season, losing to Vancouver and Minnesota in May. RSL's won only 2 of its last 10, drawing and losing 4 each, dating back to late June. Since that run began, no team has won fewer games, and only 2 teams have taken fewer points than RSL's 10, Houston and DC United with 8 each. What say you, Jarrett Smith?
Give me the draw here.
Okay. I was going to go with...
I'm a coward. That's fine. Don't worry about it.
I'll go with Dallas at the minus.
That's fine.
Let's see. Last one, MLS After Dark, Saturday night, Vancouver hosting Nashville. Vancouver at home at BC Place is a +174. Your draw is +231, and Nashville is a +156. Nashville chose offense last night.
Yeah, but if I can get Vancouver at a plus at home against a Nashville team that just kind of is inconsistent, I'm taking Vancouver with a positive number. Emotions and logic be damned. I saw Vancouver at a positive number at home. I'll do that.
Nashville and Vancouver drew the only meeting between the sides, 1-1 in Nashville back on July 30. Nashville has a win, a draw, and a loss in 3 visits to Canada, all of which were played in 2021. Vancouver's 87th minute goal to earn a point against RSL, the 9th time it scored a tying or go-ahead goal in the 86th minute or later this season. Whitecaps have collected an MLS high 14 points on goals scored in the final 5 minutes this season. Nashville ended a joint club record 6-match winless run with the 4-0 win over FC Dallas, including the playoffs. Nashville has recorded consecutive wins only once in its last 40 MLS matches, dating back to mid-September last year, beating Crew and Sporting in early April 2022. I'll go with Vancouver here. I'll go.
That number's too pretty for me.
I gotta go with Vancouver in that one. We'll focus on the Battle of the Uniteds last. 7:30 Sunday, Orlando City and NYC. Orlando City a plus 135. Your draws a plus 241. NYC is a plus 192. Sunday fun facts. As you look at this particular game, it is on FS1, so you're going to get the super long pregame show. 7:30 air for FS1, kickoff at 7:55.
Yeah, call it 8 o'clock. I mean, they're going to do something. They're going to sneak in another commercial break.
Orlando City's managed just one win in their last 11 matches against NYC, drawing and losing 5 each, though it won a penalty shootout at home in the 2020 playoffs. NYCFC's unbeaten in 5 straight regular season games in Orlando, winning 2, drawing 3. Though the last 3 have ended in the draws. Orlando City's 2-1 win at Charlotte on Sunday was its 5th road victory of the season, equaling a single-season club record while setting a club record with 21 away points. At home, however, Orlando has left just 15 points, with only the Red Bulls taking more points on their own ground in 2022. NYC's 2-0 win at Chicago, the 7th road clean sheet of the season. Only 4 teams have kept more than 7 clean sheets away from home in an MLS season. League record of 9 set by the Galaxy back in 2010. What say you, Jarrett Smith?
Not Orlando. How about that?
There you go. Okay. I've got to go with the draw just because NYC is still trying to figure out who they are offensively. It might end up being a goalless draw because of Sean Johnson, who I really think is your number 1 for the men's national team because he's the one getting all the playing time and consistently. And not the other guys, except maybe, well, if you consider Zach Steffen with what he's doing at Middlesbrough. But I think that Sean Johnson, so you get serious consideration. I'll go goalless draw. That's me.
There's nothing about New York City to inherently trust.
No.
But Orlando is schizophrenic as hell.
True.
You don't really know what you're going to get from them week to week.
Mm-hmm.
And, man, draw feels like a good decision here. It does.
MLS After Dusk on Sunday.
After Dusk.
Revs and Galaxy.
Well, I guess it is. It's still August. We don't really do dark here till it's 8:30.
Right. So it's Galaxy all the way to the Revs at 8 o'clock. Revs are a plus 108. Your draws a plus 277. The Galaxy are a plus 218 in our composite. Courtesy of our friends at Odds Portal. Bless you.
Thank you.
Let's see. So this one is on local carriers. So it's an 808 out of Gillette. And your fun facts. There have been at least 3 goals scored in each of the last 9 meetings between the Revs and Galaxy dating back to 2012, including the 2014 MLS Cup final. Last 4 meetings in Foxborough have featured at least 4 goals with an average of 5.3 scored per match in those contests with 21. New England, unbeaten in 9 straight home matches, 4 wins, 5 draws. Last losing at Gillette in early April, having a keeper stand on his head will do that for you. That was not part of the fun facts. Revs have lost only 4 of their last 30 regular season home matches, winning 18 of them dating back to November 2020. The Galaxy have lost 4 consecutive away matches after losing only 2 of their first 7 away from home this season. Galaxy's 5th road losing streak of 4 or more games since 2017 after not suffering a single road losing streak of 4 or more matches from 2009 to 2016. What say you, Jarrett Smith?
Yeah, to Bam's point, it's a must-win for everybody involved. I just kept waiting for the Revs to turn things over this year, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, I shouldn't say you knew because it's hard to say that. You felt like they weren't going to reproduce what last year was. It was magical. Matt Turner was on one in a legendary fashion. But they haven't even, been really good, much less great.
Yeah.
And it's not the exact same situation as, Seattle or Atlanta where you're out of time pretty much to figure out what to do. But you're going to make your playoff life really damn difficult for you, and that might mean going to play at Red Bull Arena or going to play at Yankee Stadium, depending on how that goes.
Yeah.
You're making your own life very difficult when you really don't need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to have to go play at Stade Saputo in the late fall.
No.
It's a long-ass trip to Montreal. It's cold. That place gets really loud for a small stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Great environment, but you don't really want to do that. And so, yeah, you're in the playoff picture right now. There's no sense in pick up that Atari and flip the little difficulty switch over to normal, so the Pong paddle isn't tiny. Don't play life on hard mode when you don't have to.
Yes, but they seem to be doing so.
I
got to go with the over, and I think it's going to be a draw. I think that, and it's because I don't have New England scoring a lot. I have them defending. I have them not letting goals in. But I'm going to go draw. I can't touch that over at 5.3. There's something there that I can't go over here. I'm going to go under, and I'm going to go draw because of the travel of the LAG, having to go from one end of the world to the other. All those external factors that we look at. I'll go under, and I'll go draw.
Give me, you know what? I'm probably very wrong on this. Give me the Galaxy straight up here.
Okay.
Because the Galaxy are capable of doing weird stuff.
Yep.
And they've done it this year. They'll show up at a road game, and you'll wonder, like, where the hell has this been? Why can't you do this every week? Give me that this week.
Okay. And you realize that we have quick turns, and we're going to have a midweek Whiparound next Wednesday.
As God intended.
Everybody is going to be playing 3, 6, 9, 11 matches on Wednesday. And Atlanta United's in Chester, PA. But to get to Chester, PA, they got a home match first against DC United, or as Nico Moreno called them yesterday, App State United. They're the Appalachian state of Major League Soccer. But, yeah, Atlanta United minus 196. DC United's a plus 475. It's a chance for Atlanta United to improve their goal difference and get 3 big points before they head to Chester.
Yeah, and look, Atlanta United's already in the point where you need help from everybody else, and you have to win out. Yep. You already dropped points in 2 must-win games. I don't know what you call it after must-win, because those games were must-win. Red Bull's here, and then on the road in Columbus, those were already must-win. I don't know what comes after must-win games other than, like,
must-win and got to get help.
Yeah, you're in that point. You're must-win, got to get help. Like, you're to the point now where, like, you don't. As far as I'm concerned, you're not controlling your own destiny efficiently, because there are so many teams between you and a playoff spot. And at this point, even if you don't make the playoffs, they're still going to play hard. They're still going to bust their tail. And these guys, I've had this conversation with people about American football, about when a season gets sideways on you, guys will still play, but guys are playing for their next paycheck sometimes. Mm-hmm. And whether that's in Atlanta or elsewhere, even if they can't make the playoffs, they still have a career to think about. They still have a reputation and that next step to think about. They're going to play hard. That part I don't doubt. And it will be interesting to see, because I don't know, going to Chester, PA is going to be a pain in the ass.
Yep.
Atlanta is going to at least have the potential to screw up the playoff picture for someone. And if that's your style, then I think you're going to potentially get the opportunity for that. Now, whether or not they take advantage of it, that remains to be seen.
Yep.
But they will have the opportunity to screw with the playoff picture, whether they're a part of it or not. But at the very least, you need to go out there and you need to have something positive to roll into next year, because, you're pretty much done this year. Like, the goose is pretty much cooked. So and if you get help, and if you win some games that you're very much not going to be favored in, mm-hmm. then weird things can absolutely happen. But it starts with, you have to beat DC, and look, DC has not been great. DC went out to LAFC and gave LAFC a fight.
Yep.
It's kind of weird.
Yes, it was.
then they gave up 6 goals and made Wayne Rooney mad against Philadelphia.
Yeah, you
the
don't
same Philadelphia you're about to go see.
Mm-hmm.
Also, styles make fights. Atlanta style and Philly style, man. That doesn't really work for Atlanta because they're going to want to play. They're going to want to build up, and Philadelphia is going to want to break.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot to unpack with that one. But you have to beat DC because you have to beat DC because you have no reason not to beat DC.
Yep.
You're better than them, but you've been better than a lot of teams this year and haven't gotten it done. So we'll see, shall we?
Yep. And the Twos this weekend host Pittsburgh Riverhounds. So we get a Bob Lilly site.
That's Saturday?
Yes, that is Saturday.
Oh, I won't be there. I'll be at the SWAC MEAC Challenge at Georgia State.
There you go.
Be standing on the sideline with a camera in my hands.
And hopefully dressing for condition.
I mean, is it supposed to be raining Saturday?
Well, no, but just like the general thickness and heat and, having to have a camera on your shoulder for 11 billion hours and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, hopefully.
But, and so, right now, Pittsburgh in the playoff hunt. And honestly, you don't know which Pittsburgh you're going to get sometimes. But it will be the return of Robbie Mertz. And it'll be good to see Robbie at the Fraction. Right now, Pittsburgh 5th in the Eastern Conference, 3 points behind Birmingham, who are in 4th. They've got a match in hand. They're 4 points clear of Miami. So Pittsburgh right now in the heart of the playoff chase below Lou City and Memphis, who are north of 50 points.
And Tofka, to your point, I think I've mentioned this before, but we can do it again. Man, I would say don't get one way or another about changes in the front office because you still don't have a president in office for Atlanta United yet. They've been pretty vocal, I think, about they're taking their time with that search. They'll get it done in the offseason, most likely before the end of the calendar year. Until you know who's going to be in that front office seat, losing your mind over it is losing your mind over it. I think it's just going to be a waste of time, man. Not to say you can't. I'm not going to say. I don't mean to say that you're wrong or crazy for doing so. And yeah, I understand that you care completely. But until you get an idea of who that president is and what they're going to want to do and anything they're going to want to change or keep the same, I think we're just all kind of spinning our tires, just kind of wondering what's going to happen. So that's how it is for me.
And folks have also mentioned
change for the sake of change can be tricky.
Yes.
So
yes.
So it depends on how you want to make that change. And and I've seen people have points about what they want to see and what they don't want to see. So again, not to say any reasons for change are right or wrong. Just change for the sake of change can be tricky. And until they get a president in there, I don't know what to expect personally.
Yeah, and I look at LAFC as change for the sake of change. And we've been talking about LAFC this morning and yesterday, where LAFC is just like, hey, we'll bring in Bale. Hey, we'll bring in Chiellini. Hey, we'll bring in all of these dudes.
It's good marketing, at least.
We'll loan out Mamadou Fall. We'll bring in, we'll bring in other folks. And so that to me seems more like change for the sake of change. Hey, we can do it, and we can sit there and look at the game state when it comes to bringing in players, and we can sign up everybody to all of these AM deals. And that to me, especially the closer you get to the end of the window with all of this movement that you're seeing, to me, it's more change for the sake of change. It feels more to me like LAFC is doing it because they feel they can do it.
Well, LAFC had a lot to change too because they lost their manager who had been their manager from day one and had to kind of rebuild things. Because remember, last year they missed the playoffs when they had a bunch of injuries. Carlos Vela wasn't able to go all year. They got close on decision day and weren't able to get across the line. They kind of refreshed things a bit, kept a lot of the same pieces that were working for them, and here you are now. And it's not the exact same situation that Atlanta's going to have to deal with, but I want to see what the offseason looks like. I will be very interested to see what the offseason looks like here.
No doubt. And I think it's going to be an interesting offseason for a lot of clubs in Major League Soccer, especially with all of the movement that we're seeing with all of the clubs looking to bring in players internationally and see what's going on. Jarrett will be back at 10 o'clock to talk other stuff. You're more than happy. You're more than willing to rejoin. But we got somebody in the bullpen. We got somebody in the bullpen with a backward hat, which means he's ready to go. And so that means that I have to find a particular open because it's that time, and here it is, I think. I hit the right button, Cap. Can you believe it?
Look at you on this Friday morning on top of things.
Oh man, don't see now you're pressing it. You're pressing the idea of me actually hitting all of the right buttons 100% of the time. That expectation level, man, you're kind of sitting there and it's like it's making me feel good, but that adds to the pressure of like, okay, what's my sequence? How am I going to sit there and make this thing happen? By the way, that's Michael Parkhurst. If you haven't recognized him, it's time to catch up with Parky with Beyond Goals. So Cap, you're doing the 2 weeks in a row. So that means that Greg's doing 2 weeks in a row. Is that how this is going to work?
Who knows? We just take it week by week, John. We like to keep you on your toes, guessing everything.
No doubt. My first question for you is it was something that kind of came up as I was thinking this morning, which can be dangerous. When a mentor needs advice or mentoring, when you feel like you do, where do you go when you think you need mentoring? Because I would imagine that it's not just something that stops once play stops and you continue doing other things with your career. When a mentor needs mentoring, where do they go?
Yeah, and I think that, well, it's a good question. And I think that all of us who have had some success throughout their careers have probably had a mentor one way or another, or someone to, lean on or ask questions or just talk to, and I certainly have that as well. And, I think that one of the really nice things about being in this with Greg is I think him and I kind of help each other out, on certain things, when we're dealing with certain situations or, struggling to connect with someone or whatever it might be. I think that it's nice that him and I have an ear to bounce things off of and somebody to talk to. The coach at Wake Forest University has always been someone that I've had a really good relationship there with. And he's somebody that I've leaned on throughout times in my career for advice, just to talk to. And so he's been somebody that has been a mentor for me.
I was going to ask you, when you're in one of those situations, how many people are on your speed dial that will pick up instantly knowing that it's you and that you've got to talk about something? How many folks are in that speed dial for you?
There's a few. I mean, surely my wife, Coach Muse there, Greg, there's a couple other family and friends, but those would be my top three.
And obviously, having those folks to lean on, I would think that it's just as important to have folks who can come at you from different perspectives, and they're not saying the same. You're not getting the same information over and over and over again. The fact that they might be able to come at you with an angle that you might not have thought of. You go to the next person, they bring something else to the table, and that third person brings something else to the table. You're not getting the same information over and over again, and getting all of those different sources can be just as helpful.
Oh, definitely. Because one of the things we talk about is it's all about perspective, and people see things differently, and that's a great thing. And it's nice to have those different perspectives sometimes when you're struggling with a decision or something going on in life, right? Where you're only seeing it one way, or, looking at it through one lens, right? People view things so differently sometimes. So to have that is important. I think that's, for me, where my wife is nice to talk to, because even though we were together my whole career, she still, is not a soccer enthusiast where she knows the game back and front or anything like that. She, was an athlete herself a while ago, but, doesn't view it in that lens of, professional athlete or coach or anything like that. So it's a completely different perspective. And then I've got Greg, obviously, who went through everything that I went through as an athlete. And then, Bobby Muse there at Wake, who understands the game, was never, a high level player, but knows the game from the coaching perspective and what athletes go through. So it is nice to have those different perspectives, for sure.
who do you think is? I won't necessarily ask for names, but how many people do you think are that have you on their speed dial for advice when it comes to mentoring? You think?
Yeah, hopefully a few. I mean, that's why, Greg and I share our personal information with all the clients that we work with. But, beyond the kids that I've worked with over the past couple of years, friends and relatives and family. So I think that I've always been one of those people that, is kind of easier to talk to. And I've always been a better listener than communicator anyways, even though I try to improve on the latter. Hopefully, because that's a great feeling to know that you can help someone or be there for someone when they need it.
How long did it take you, and this is different, I guess, from person to person, but how long did it take you when it comes to wanting to be a mentor for others? Were you always a person that was out there and gregarious and offering of information, or were you waiting for someone to sit there and say, hey, Michael, I want to ask you something? Were you an outbound or were you an inbound before you started mentoring like this with Beyond Goals?
Yeah, definitely inbound. I think that even when I talk about leadership, I was not, a typical or even a leader. In the common sense, I was not a leader throughout my whole life. I was definitely more quiet. Like I said earlier, I listened more than I spoke. I didn't realize at the time I was leading by example through the things I did, on and off the field. But, just in terms of, in the locker room, being a leader and communicating and wearing an armband and being more outgoing, I was not. I think I've learned a lot throughout being at different locker rooms and being around different leaders. But similarly to mentoring, it took me to pretty late in my career to be more assertive or outgoing in my, hey, people don't always feel comfortable asking or going to other people. So maybe if I, go out there and be proactive and ask rather than wait to be asked upon, I can be of more help. And it takes a little bit of confidence to do that, and also a tone where it's not like oh, I know more than you, but I'm here to help in that regard. And so that was a fine line for me to overcome, because I didn't want to be pushy. I didn't want to make it seem like I knew everything or more than the guy next to me, but also wanted to be available to anybody that needed it.
And that is a delicate balance, especially to younger players, because of generational differences and perceptions and things like that, where you could have a younger player sit there today, regardless of age and age difference. They could sit there and say, "Oh, great, here so and so's coming again to tell me how he's doing things." And I think it is a delicate balance, and you have to find a way to have that other individual that you're trying to help understand that that's all you're trying to do. You're not trying to, impose your way on this individual. It's like, I've been there, I've seen this. Here's my input on what I'm seeing with what you're doing. And I think it is a delicate balance, especially with generational differences these days.
Totally. And that's part of the reason why Greg and I started Beyond Goals, honestly, and where the thought came from. Because, when I look back, I think, did I do enough to help out that first generation of Atlanta homegrowns? Right, Chris Goslin and Andrew Carlton and Lagos Kunga and Patrick. Did I do enough to help them off the field and guide them and try and give them a little bit of a spark? Because obviously it didn't work out for any of those guys with Atlanta United, and I think that we all tried to do a little bit because we could see the writing on the wall a little bit, but if I'm being honest, I don't know. I didn't cross over that line and be more assertive. And I look back and think, could I have done more? I wish I had done more.
But at the same time, they also, anybody has to want to listen too at the same time. And it's a 50-50 street here. And I can sense in talking to you about this that it's a lesson for a mentor, I guess, is in mentors are always learning too. And going back to asking yourself if you were there to help out the originals working their way through, it's a learning lesson for folks that want to continue to mentor as well. Lessons are always going to be there for you, whether you're an athlete, whether you're playing, whether you're learning after you've retired, all of these things. It comes back to the overarching message that you're still learning no matter what stage of your life you're in, and learning is a good thing.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. Always learning. And that's why I read more now than I ever used to, just trying to increase knowledge and get other perspectives like we talked about earlier. And you're right. It is a two-way street, mentoring, right? But one of the things that you can learn as a mentor is how to increase the likelihood that you can come across a two-way street, right? It might start as a one-way. And how can you communicate and how can you get through to a mentee and get them to be on board and understand and want to and apply themselves and that type of thing. And so, yes, maybe it wasn't there from their perspective of taking it in when I was there, but did I do enough to figure out a way to get it into them? So, that type of learning has definitely occurred for me and, will continue to.
As a mentor, how do you keep from not getting frustrated? Because mentors mean well, but there are times where mentees may not necessarily take in the entire message, may not want to learn. It goes back to that thought that we had a couple of minutes ago about where, wanting to listen.
Mm-hmm.
How do mentors, and it could be you and Greg or other mentors around you that are a part of your circle, how do mentors keep from being frustrated when they're trying to do things that can only benefit those that they're trying to interact with?
Yeah, it's a good question as well. And I think there are, of course, frustrating moments. But, you lean back on the fact of why you're doing it and the successes that you have had and the kids that are engaged and are learning and you are helping to know that, it's not you so much and it's not the message. It's just maybe it's not the right time yet. And I'm not perfect either. I'm still trying to figure out sometimes like how much to push, when to leave it and let them figure things out and come to me. Those types of things, it's just like on the field with those fine lines and figuring out, where to push and where to wait and how much to do, because, as much as, the frustration for the mentor can be annoying and, difficult to overcome, the frustration on the other side can be even worse if it's just nonstop and relentless from a mentor that's not being well received. So, I don't want that to occur either.
When it comes to the message finally getting through, and once again, this can be from personal experience with you and Greg with Beyond Goals. It could be with other folks that who are mentors. When you finally break through, after all of the talk and those moments of frustrations and things where you don't think the message is getting through, you hope it is on some level, you're not sure that it is. When it finally pushes through, what has it been like as a mentor and for those around you that are mentors to finally see the help pushing through and having that mentee understand the message? What's that like to see that light come on?
Yeah, very satisfying. It's funny, we talk to mentees about confidence and how to overcome it and how to deal with it and things like that. But, we deal with confidence too, right? Am I sending the right message? Is it getting through? What can I be doing differently, right? All those things. And so when it finally starts to click and you start to see some progress, it gives you the confidence that, okay, what you're doing is right. What you're speaking about is right. The messaging, sometimes it just takes a little bit more time, more perseverance. depending on the athletes or the situation. So for us, it's really gratifying because that's why we're doing it. And, we're happy that we're, making a difference and can see that, and, hoping that it can make a difference for that child on and off the field.
Have your approaches in mentoring and those around you, like I said, could be you, could be Greg, could be Beyond Goals on the Whole, could be other mentors in general. Has your approach changed? Have your ideas of approach changed? Have your ideas of attack, if you want to put it into soccer parlance, have they changed when it comes to mentoring? And how much, if it has? Because I imagine you come into it and you're sitting there saying, okay, it's like a game plan. You come into every individual game with a game plan, and then once ball is kicked, you have to adjust your tactics.
Definitely.
How much tactical adjustment have you made, I guess, as a mentor, and those around you that you've seen as mentors? How much tactical adjustments have you had to make in your mentoring version of Michael Parkhurst?
A lot, and we're always mixing it up and changing it, and that's where, through the individual sessions, we never go in with like hey, this is exactly how this session's going to go, in this session, and this session, and this session. It's like, we've got, okay, if we're struggling for, and it depends on the individual and how outgoing they are, right, and what they're going through and stuff. We've got certain things that we will touch on, and life experiences and whatnot. But anytime I have that stuff written down, it's like, the conversation just goes totally somewhere else. And, maybe at some point we'll get to that stuff or another meeting or anything, but that's where the individual is nice, because we can kind of just go wherever it takes us, the conversation. I think that the biggest difference for us has been, at the team level, we originally, I guess it's individual sort of, but we originally thought we would work with high level athletes only, right? Only the kids that wanted to get to college, play professional, right? Help them get over the hump. But I think that the more we spoke with kids, the more outreach we did, the more we realized our messaging relates to any kid going through life, trying to get better at anything that they do, and trying to have success. And that's, I think, also what we realized post soccer, right? Things that made us successful on the field make us successful off the field. And now I get why companies look to have former athletes as part of their workforce, because there's certain things that athletes and young kids learn through team sports and through winning and losing and dealing with adversity and those types of things that lead to success down the road, no matter what they do for a profession. So I think that we've realized that we can speak to every kid and have an impact, not just a high level athlete.
I was going to say, what's it like having that kind of universality where you kind of get the vibe that, we are doing something, we're on a right path here with higher end athletes, but at the same time, we can have messages for those who are learning and those who are just starting out. What's it like to have that kind of universality as a mentor?
Yeah, it's nice. It broadens our reach, and we're just trying to have the biggest impact that we can. Soccer was really good to Greg and I, and we're just trying to use it to give back and give back some of our knowledge that we learned. And that's why it's allowed us to open up a nonprofit section of Beyond Goals that we can use then to go out and impact kids and schools and teams that would not be able to normally use our services. And we're only able to do that because the messaging has changed a little bit, where we realize like we can develop leaders of tomorrow within our community, based off of our experiencing our message and, what led to us to have success.
Let's talk about that nonprofit angle for just a little bit, since you've opened that door. Let's go down that particular channel this morning. When that idea kind of popped up, it's like, hey, we have this other way of being able to impact. It's another one of those doors that you sit there and it's like, okay, this is now being presented to us, and we really can make a difference to an entirely different aspect of folks. And I would posit that, once again, those individuals, I think, they value it just as much, if not more, the fact that you and Greg and Beyond Goals can reach out and have this nonprofit angle, because it, once again, you mentioned, it broadens your reach. And I think at the same time, it can open a door for someone who thought that mentoring wasn't available to them, and now they have this opportunity for them. What's it been like to have the nonprofit continue the way that it has?
Yeah, it's been great, and we're honestly just getting everything going right now. I don't think we've got $1 yet in our nonprofit bucket, but the work that we've done with Soccer in the Streets, and Greg does a ton of local outreach there in the Atlanta area with schools and some of the schools that we've spoken to in clubs, and you realize how fortunate we've had it and how fortunate our kids have it. And you want to make sure that what I said earlier is we're broadening our reach of just being able to make sure that we try and be a mentor to as many kids as possible, be a positive influence. And we know that we're in a special place to do that because of being former athletes. And in today's society, professional athletes are on a pedestal, and so many kids want to be a professional athlete, which is awesome, and have that dream. And because of that, we've got the ability to connect with some of these kids that other adults and other people can't have that type of impact. And we understand that. So that's why we're trying to use our knowledge and our platform for as best a result as possible.
Look 5 years down the line for me. It's a crystal ball question. Say 5-10 years down the line. How would you like to continue to see Beyond Goals grow and evolve into those next stages of mentoring? That I know that once again, we talk game plans and everything. And once the ball is kicked, you have to change your tactics. But when the ball was kicked at Beyond Goals, I'm fairly certain that you and Greg had a game plan put together. Now that the ball has been kicked and you are early on in the first half, you're seeing things grow and evolve. As you get to the interval and you get toward the second half and you're working minute 46 and beyond, how would you like to continue to see Beyond Goals grow and evolve through everything that you've been able to do so far?
Yeah, it's a great question. And, I think Greg and I are taking it baby step at a time and seeing where it goes and organically how things unfold. But, I think big picture, we're not sure yet. We think that it could be as big as we want it to be. We could involve other former athletes. We want to get some and even current athletes, maybe women involved as well, women soccer players or women athletes, because we know, just like I said about professional athletes, right? Women athletes have a better ability to connect, especially with young girls than we do. And we want to have that representation at some point. So I'm not sure. If we ever take it beyond locally in Atlanta and expand it and bring other former athletes and maybe have mentor training so that they can reach kids in their areas, or if we're going to work with all these MLS academies, MLS Next teams, USL academies, who knows? There's a lot of different ways and options we could go with it in the future. But we just want to see what it does in the local level and see what kind of impact and what difference it can make. So that's what we're doing and focused on now.
Okay, before we go, I do want to talk about Atlanta United and what happened in Columbus and questions evolving from there. But I do have a question from one of our watchers in the Twitch page, and he's watching from Australia. He's one of our faithful watchers, and he's from Australia. So right now he's pushing midnight on a Friday, asks you this question. And he's a fan of LAFC, so try not to hold that against him in the present tense. He says, question for Michael. Do a lot of kids miss playing due to the high price clubs charge to play? I know it's a problem here in Australia for some kids. They can't go to certain clubs due to parents not being able to afford it due to charging over $2,000 a season. So from your experience, do a lot of kids miss playing because of the high price of the charge to play?
Yeah, I mean, pay to play is a problem here in the U.S. It certainly is. And, each club now has, I think, money from U.S. Soccer to try and scholarship some players. So there are opportunities out there. But that said, it's some of these families can't even get their kids to the practice, especially if it's a little bit of a distance. So surely there's definitely kids that are missing out on soccer or missing out on the level that they could be playing at versus just playing at their local YMCA or, after school program or something like that. It's definitely a huge problem here because similarly, the prices are extraordinary. It can easily run a few $1,000s a year, even at the U8, U9 level, if they're playing multiple tournaments a year or traveling for tournaments. So yeah, it's something. Youth sports has become such a massive money maker here in the US. And so, yeah, it's a challenge.
Okay, so all right, let's finish up with Atlanta United. DC's coming into town this weekend. DC's been giving up a lot of goals, so it could be a chance for United, obviously, to draw closer to the playoff bar, but then they have to go to Chester in the midweek, so it's a tall order coming up, but you got to take care of your own business first and foremost. Just focus on that. Did you get out your canoe and your paddle and work your way to lower.com to catch the match?
Sure did.
What'd you think?
I thought the first half was fantastic. I thought they were so good. On the front foot, dominating. Thankful that we got at least one. Could have had more. So that was really good. And I think even the second half, you expect a little bit of a letdown just because the first half was so good and Columbus was so bad. But I thought even the second half was pretty good. Cucho is Joseph of 2017, 2018, where it's like, you give this guy half a chance and it's in the back of the net. And so, that's unfortunate. But, he did a good job of making sure that he got out of there with at least a point, because to lose that game after playing that well in the first half and even, decently overall for the entire game, that would have been a killer. So, confidence from parts of it for sure, but I'm sure guys were disappointed that didn't get the win.
How frustrating is the inconsistency of officiating as an athlete?
Highly. You just feel like some things are called one game and then they're not called the next, and VAR intrudes sometimes and then not other times. And you just wonder, like, are these guys communicating? Do they watch things all together as a group? Like, are they learning from things? Because, it's tough for guys to know, like, how should they play? What can they get away with? What's the boundary if it's just so inconsistent? And, I did not see anything on the taken away goal from Sosa. I was shocked on that call. But so, yeah, it's very frustrating. Like, if it's always going to be called, like, okay, then guys know, right? But it's the inconsistency that really gets to coaches and players.
Especially when you're going half to half, and not just game to game, but it's half to half. And it could also be sometimes pinned from a center ref to center ref. The guy could be working it one way in the first half, and then he overcorrects. And I think that there's a danger sometimes in a center ref who overcorrects. And this is just speaking in general terms, but You have those center refs that overcorrect. It's like they'll call it one way or they won't call things. And then later on, could be 20 minutes later in the same half. It could be in the second half. Then they overcorrect and call things too tightly. And it goes to your notion of, okay, where's the line? The line was here. Now it's not. You get a foul late and you get a card out of it when it doesn't match the tenor of the match. And it's disappointing when you have center refs who can't quite control the volume knob on the stereo system and figure out what they want to do.
Yeah, definitely. And that's, the game management and the flow of it. And, we just wish referees would understand that a little bit more. Like, if you're going to let it go, and there's certain referees that, let things go a little bit more, then let it go. But if you're going to call a tight game, call a tight game. Just try and keep it as consistent as possible. Yeah, the half to half, or, little things to little things, or more, why is there more yellow cards in the second half for the same foul that's in the first half? Like little things like that, where it's just like, they could help themselves a little bit more and just help us, and then help the flow of the game. When you're watching on TV, the stop and the go and the arguing and all this, it'd be less of it if it was just a little bit more consistent across the board.
All right, what's going on with the Beyond Goals? What do folks need to know, and where can they catch what is going on with at BG Mentoring on the Twitters? What's the latest?
I think we still got 1 week left in the sale that we're back to season, back to school sale that we had going on. So that's on the website. I'm getting down there in October, doing Soccer in the Streets events, doing a Boys and Girls Club event, meeting with Atlanta United Academy. So trying to get all that done in a trip there in October. So calendar's filling up for the fall, which is great.
Yes, we like a full calendar, especially when it means that you get to drop down here and get to catch up with folks at MF Parkhurst on the Twitters, at BG Mentoring on the Twitters, beyondgoalsmentoring.com. Cap, thanks for coming in coming in out of the bullpen this morning and hanging out with me for a half hour. It's always fun for me to have these conversations with you about mentoring and what it's like to be a mentor, and how folks can receive the information and receive everything, all the vibes that are coming out from you and Greg and everybody at Beyond Goals. Thanks for hanging out with me for another week. We'll catch up soon.
Awesome. Thanks, John. Appreciate it.
You bet. Man, conquers technology. He comes on. Michael's there. And then now it's just you and me, which means it's time for me to read the promo from our friends at Lemonize Service over my left shoulder for those of you watching on Twitch. For odor-free, clean, fresh air, one place you need to go, it's a Lemonize Service. Deodorizing enclosed spaces like houses, apartments, and condos. They've created a customized solution that eliminizes all organic odors, including those like pets, cigarettes, and food. Realtors and property managers use the Lemonize Service to eliminate bad odors to help them sell or rent their homes that much faster. It is a turnkey process, makes it easy to work with said realtors and property managers, kind of the environment, offering a green way to get rid of odors without any kind of toxic residue whatsoever. Different than Febreze or our favorite masking agents that we have either under the sink or above in the cabinet, because when you take them out from under the sink or take them out from out of the cabinet, you spray them in the air. That's all they do. They just mask the odors. They don't attack the problems like our friends at Lemonize do, all the way down to the molecule with their proven scientific formula. Pricing one of two ways, either by cubic feet or parts per million, to come up with a price that is affordable for you, offering results in 24 hours or less. If you have any questions, frequently asked or otherwise, go to the website, lemonize.com. But do us a favor here at SDH. Go and add a /Atlanta after the .com so they know what part of the world that you are talking to them from to help you attack your problem. So it's ELIMINIZE.com /Atlanta, lemonize.com/Atlanta for odor-free, clean, fresh air. Lemonize Service, proud sponsors of everything SDH. QR code over my left shoulder for those of you watching on Twitch. All right, now let's go overseas and get you ready for the weekend. We mentioned the draws that were happening this morning. News while Michael Parkhurst was on with us at Beyond Goals. The Alexander Isak transfer is good to go, because when Newcastle, their own selves on Twitter, sits there and kind of paraphrases Fabrizio Romano, and then when they go, here we go, and there's a picture of Alexander Isak, it's a done deal in the neighborhood of $60 million. So Alexander Isak is now a part of activity at Newcastle. So let's look at the draw, and we'll sit here and look at Europa League, which happened while we're about ready to come on the air this morning. So let's look at your group stages. Group A, Arsenal, PSV Eindhoven, Bodo Glimt, and Zurich. Group B, Dinamo Kiev, Rennes, Fenerbahce, and Larnaca out of Cyprus. Group C, Roma, Ludogorets, Betis, and HJK. Group D is Braga, Malmo, Union Berlin, and Union Saint-Gilloise. Group E, Manchester United, Real Sociedad, Sheriff Tiraspol, and Omonoia out of Cyprus. Group F, Lazio, Feyenoord, Midtjylland, and Sturm Graz. Group G, Olympiacos, Karabag, Freiburg, and Nantes. Group H, Red Star Belgrade, Monaco, Ferencvaros, and Trabzonspor. So interesting stuff in the Europa League. Match day 1, September 8. Match day 2, September 15. Match day 3, October 6. Match day 4, October 13. They wait 2 weeks before Halloween, before October 27. Match day 5, November 3rd is your final group stage. Just your info, some stats for Arsenal. All 6 previous meetings between Arsenal and PSV came in Champions League between 2002 and 2007. Arsenal winless in their last 3 games against the Dutch, drawing 2 of them. They've won all 6 of their matches against Swiss opposition, although they will face Zurich for the first time. Zurich, meanwhile, have lost all 5 of their away matches against English sides. PSV, managed by Ruud van Nistelrooy, scored only twice in 12 appearances against Arsenal in all competitions. But yeah, PSV managed by Ruud Nistelrooy. Manchester United never conceded in 4 previous meetings with Real Sociedad, winning 2 and drawing 2, facing no side more often in their history without conceding a goal. Manchester United will face Sheriff Tiraspol for the first time in their history. We know how difficult playing Sheriff has been for folks in European competition. Omanoia will be the first Cypriot side to face Manchester United in a competitive match. No English side has ever lost against either a Moldovan side or a Cypriot team in European competitions, including qualifiers. So that is your look at Europa League as that was laid out this morning. The Europa Conference League draw is laid out. So Conference League group stage, Group A, Başakşehir, Fiorentina, Hearts, and RFS. Interesting. Group B, West Ham, FCSB, Anderlecht, and Silkeborg. Interesting. Group C, Villarreal, Napoli, Austria Vienna, and Lech Poznan. Group D, AZ Alkmaar, Cologne, Nice, and Slovako. Group E, Ghent, Hapoel Beersheva, Vaduz, and Dnipro. Group F, Partizan, Molde, Shamrock Rovers, and Djurgardens. Group G, Slavia Prague, Cluj, Sivaspor, and Balkani. Group H, Basel, Slovan Bratislava, Zalgiris, Vilnius, and Punic. So that's your some interesting matchups there in Conference League as well, as we lay out those particular tournaments. Now let's get into transfers, because remember, it's the last weekend of the transfers here in the secondary window, but you still got more days to work your way forward. Fulham boss Marco Silva has said that Brighton striker Neal Maupay is going to Everton. Links with Justin Kluivert, Reguilon, and Kurzawa. Marco Silva says we have to wait. Willian is training with Fulham. Silva says it's a different situation, adding, I just want to talk to you about our players. On potential outgoings of Knockaert, Bryan, Congolo, and Cavallero, working with players and agents, working well to clarify their futures. So keep an eye on that. News for Jessica Charman. Reading announced the signing of central defender Naby Sarr on a 4-year deal. 29-year-old has signed a contract which will keep him until the summer of 2026. The Isak signing is for a club record £63 million. Completed a medical yesterday, came by private jet. Dan Ashworth and head of recruitment Steve Nixon had spent 48 hours in Spain agreeing to a deal with Real Sociedad. Eddie Howe does, however, deny that there have been contact between Manchester United and Newcastle over the sale of Martin Dubravka. Erik ten Hag is seeking competition for David De Gea. Dubravka was left out of Newcastle's matchday squad in the midweek as Tranmere were beaten in the Carabao Cup. Eddie Howe said on Friday that Dubravka is not in talks with Manchester United. There has been contact with clubs. Those will continue, but I'm reluctant to lose him. It's a decision that's out of my hands, really. Como, close to completing a deal to sign Wolves striker Patrick Cutrone, according to Sky in Italy. Now set to sign for Dennis Wise and Cesc Fabregas's club on a deal until 2025. Pep Guardiola says Bernardo Silva will not leave Manchester City in this transfer window, long linked to a move to Barca. Guardiola admitted that the midfielder liked the club a lot in midweek, but reports emerged last night that PSG had made an offer. Manchester City has denied the story, adamant Silva will be playing his football at the Etihad this season. Thomas Tuchel, when he was asked if he wants new signings at Chelsea following their loss to Leeds, he says, it's not only about shouting for players. The squad was strong enough to win the match at Leeds and far too strong to lose 3-0. This is where it starts. The transfer window has not changed the opinion much we've known for weeks. We ideally want to add to the group. And let's see. Thomas Tuchel moved on to Wesley Fofana, unavailable for selection again. About Leicester's visit to Stamford Bridge this weekend. Tuchel was asked about Fofana, and so, of course, Tuchel says he's not our player. It's their decision and where it has to stay. Thoughts are wondering if Brendan Rodgers and Leicester are handling the Fofana situation as well as humanly possible. So that's out there in the ether this morning. Mikel Arteta says it was the best decision for everyone to let Nicola Pepe move to Nice. Says he has no concerns the club has done anything wrong with regards to financial fair play rules. The reported £80 million fee for Ajax's Antony is referred to as astronomical. Yes, it is. How far up will it go before Antony is let go? That's the big question. Sunderland have confirmed that Alex Neil has entered into discussions with Stoke regarding their current managerial vacancy. So that's some news from the lower divisions. West Ham have agreed to a deal from Lyon to sign Lucas Paqueta. The French club has rejected 2 offers for the Brazilian midfielder. Talks continued through Thursday night, reached an advanced stage Friday morning. Paqueta, who had played in Europa last season against West Ham, had 3 years left on his deal. Patrick Vieira is not giving much away as to whether Crystal Palace will be busy, getting closer to the end of the window, not volunteering information one way or the other. Isak, just to give you an idea when it comes to where his signing is in relation to everybody else at Newcastle, until the £63 million for Isak, the highest was $40 million twice. Bruno Guimaraes and Joelinton both were for $40 million. Sven Botman was for 35. Chris Wood and Joe Willock were each for 25. So Alexander Isak has blown the curve when it comes to record signings, fees, and add-ons. So there's that one. All right, so let's get into the newspapers and kind of run you through what's going on there. Let's see if the papers are actually saying things this morning. We also have another piece of news. Cristiano Ronaldo with the national emergency that is Cristiano Ronaldo's place in Manchester United's roster. His agent makes Napoli approach over a potential move. Jorge Mendes has approached Napoli over a potential move for Cristiano Ronaldo. So we'll keep an eye on that and figure out whether or not he's just going to be paid to sit or if he's going to be paid by somebody else to wander over and play for the remainder of the season. Once again, remember, we've got less than a week. Avoiding the 3 and the 4 letter papers overseas. Manchester City had rejected, according to the Times, basically a £60 million bid for Bernardo Silva. So that was where that goes. Dutch club's evaluation of Antony, meaning Ajax, for Manchester United, close to £84.5 million. The West Ham bid was almost $50 million before they agreed to terms on Paqueta. Also, avoiding the 3-letter paper, the Daily Express, Barcelona forward Memphis Depay could secure a surprise return to Manchester United after a proposed move to Juve has fallen through. And Manchester United, Arsenal, and other suitors alerted to reports that Lyon are ready to cash in on Moussa Dembele. Daily Star. Chelsea's Hakim Ziyech would prefer a move to Spurs than rejoin his former club Ajax, with the Moroccan desperate, in the Daily Star's words, to leave Stamford Bridge. Antony remains the leading target, according to the Daily Telegraph, although Manchester United has been offered the chance to sign Real Madrid's Marco Asensio. Avoiding the 4-letter paper, going to the Guardian, Scottish Sun, Daily Record. Let's go to the Daily Record. Aberdeen boss Jim Goodwin said he's baffled by managers and clubs who are still scrambling about to fill key positions at the end of the transfer window and will not be rushed into panic transfers. Hearts goalkeeper Craig Gordon was targeted by a missile during his side's Europa League playoff clash against FC Zurich. So that's your news with the papers and the transfers as we head into the morning. Let's get into your juice boxes for the weekend across the major leagues and divisions and get you into all of the viewing that will be going on as well. Remember, in the Premier League, it is 7 on Saturday, 3 on Sunday, back at it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So this will be an interesting week for the Premier League. So set your fantasy teams accordingly. 7 matches on your Saturday. Southampton hosting Manchester United. Manchester United, not surprisingly, a minus 122 on the road. Brentford and Everton are one of the 5 10 o'clocks. Brentford a plus 106. Your draws a plus 248. Everton is a plus 280 at the G-Tech. And Brighton minus 110. And Leeds is a plus 307 heading to Brighton. Your draws a plus 272. Chelsea and Leicester. You have Chelsea as a minus 233. Leicester basically a plus 650. Liverpool and Bournemouth. Liverpool minus 900. Bournemouth and Scott Parker a plus 2,300 to win. Manchester City hosting Crystal Palace. Man City is a minus 526. Crystal Palace a plus 1425. Your 12:30 on Saturday. Arsenal and Fulham. Arsenal's a minus 312. Your draw is a plus 480, and Fulham is a plus 850. Sunday, 3 matches, 2 at 9 o'clock, Villa and West Ham. Villa's a plus 131. Your draw's a plus 244. West Ham is a plus 219. Wolves hosting Newcastle at the Molineux. Basically, juice box purveyors are throwing a blanket over it in and around 173 for both sides. Your draw's a plus 229. You have the Battle of the Hums, Nottingham, Tottenham, 11:30. Nottingham basically a plus 600, and Tottenham is a minus 208. Your draw's a plus 363. Looking at the other action in some of the other leagues, going to League just quickly, let's see what PSG's number is. PSG is a minus 500 hosting Monaco on late tomorrow being says late Sunday. They are Ligue 1 after dusk. It's 7:45 local time, 2:45 here in the East. Minus 500. Monaco is a plus 1172. And then they turn around once again and do quick activity in the midweek as well. So keep an eye on all of the activity there. In Germany, in the Bundesliga, some of the highlights there. Hoffenheim is a minus 208 with Augsburg coming to town. 9:30 kick Eastern time on Saturday morning. You have Mainz and Bayer Leverkusen both on the plus side. Hertha Berlin is a big underdog to Dortmund, who's a minus 145. You have action today, actually, in the Bundesliga. Freiburg and Bochum. Freiburg is a minus 200 at home. Schalke and Union Berlin, both on the plus side. Bayern Munich is a minus 500 for your late game on your Saturday with Bayern Munich a minus 500 against Mönchengladbach. Mönchengladbach is a plus 1180. Also, both on the plus sides, your activity on Sunday, Cologne, Stuttgart, Werder Bremen, and Eintracht Frankfurt. Scanning down to Italy, Serie A. What do we have in Serie A? You've got action today. Monza and Udinese at 12:30. Lazio and Inter at 2:45. Inter is a minus 114 at Lazio, who's a plus 315. Udinese is a plus 131 on the road at Monza, who's a plus 218. Tomorrow, Cremonese and Torino, both at that one's at 12:30, both on the plus side. Torino is a road favorite. Juve is a plus 142 hosting AS Roma, and your draw option and Roma both a plus 220. Milan and Bologna, Milan big favorite. AC Milan is a big favorite at 245. Spezia Sassuolo. Sassuolo is a road favorite at a plus 129 on Sunday. Salernitana Sampdoria, both on the plus side. Salernitana is a home favorite. Verona and Atalanta. Atalanta minus 125 on the road. Fiorentina Napoli. Napoli's a road favorite at a plus 114. Lecce and Empoli. Lecce is a plus 141 at home as Empoli visits, and then they turn around and have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday as well in Serie A. So it's a very, very busy week for all of the action in Europe. Liga MX, we all know their schedules are midweek, weekend, pick a day of the week, and they've got something going on. Today in the Apertura at 8 o'clock, Puebla and Juarez. Puebla at home is a plus 129. Juarez is a plus 216. Your draw is north of that. 10:05, Mazatlan, plus 400 at home as Club America visits. Club America is a minus 152. Also on Liga MX's board tomorrow at 6, and at 6, 8, and 10, Sabado Futbolero. Cruz Azul, minus 120 at home, hosting Querétaro. Tigres, a minus 161 at 8:05, hosting Necaxa. Chivas Pumas. Chivas at 10:05 is a minus 112. With Pumas coming to town Sunday, 4 matches before they play in the midweek as well. Toluca gets your 1 o'clock kick there, a home dog to Pachuca. Leon is at 8 o'clock, is a plus 121 at home as Atlas comes to visit. Santos Laguna at 8:05 is on the minus side at minus 130 against Atletico San Luis. And at 10:05 on Sunday, Tijuana and Monterrey. Monterrey visits the Estadio Caliente as a plus 110 favorite. Also scanning down before we get into the nitty-gritty of the schedules. One that I wanted to focus on is in the Ukraine. You've got 3 matches tomorrow. Then you have 3 more on Sunday and 2 on Monday. Locally here in the East, it is 6 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning. And you have Dynamo Kyiv and Dnipro. That one has been taken off the board at 10 o'clock. So you have the 3 matches tomorrow, bright and early. Zorya Luhansk on the road is a -233 favorite. You've got Vorskla Poltava as a home favorite. Shakhtar Donetsk is looking to have their second match of the season. They're at 8 o'clock on Sunday with Krivbas, big home favorite as well. So good to see, and bam, and this is a point that we've been making, good to see the Ukrainian Premier League work their way back into having competition. So reminders about USL Championship tomorrow, Atlanta United 2, once again, 7:30 from the Fraction. And you've got other matchups, the Miami FC and Lou City, Tampa Bay and Orange County in an east-west crossover. You have Colorado Springs, New Mexico at 9 o'clock. El Paso and Phoenix is at 9:30, and Monterey Bay and Los Dos are at 10 o'clock. So also on the board before we go, I was going to promise you viewing habits that could be heading your way, and looking at soccer on TV on the weekend. So today, League on beIN at 3. You've got collegiate action at 6 and at 7. All your collegiate action, either it's on the B1G or it's on ESPNU or ESPN Plus or Deportes. The doubleheader on ESPN tonight. Austin LAFC at 8. Portland Seattle is at 10. Also, you have on ESPN Plus Belgium, the Bundesliga, Bundesliga 2, the Championship, Luton Town and Sheffield United at 2:55, La Liga, college across the board. Paramount Plus has your doubleheader in Serie A, 12:30 and 2:45, the NWSL tonight with Orlando and OL Reign. And then VIX has Liga MX, Mazatlan, and Club America at 10. Tomorrow, Liga on beIN, NBC has Arsenal and Fulham at 12:30, big NBC. USA Network has the doubleheader. The rest are on Peacock, 7:30, and Brighton and Leeds have been moved to USA Network at 10 o'clock because of the American influence. beIN has Liga MX en Español. They've got Liga en Español. Fox Deportes has Liga MX at 10 o'clock. Telemundo has Premier League at 10A, Liga MX at 10P. 2 has your Minnesota Houston game at 3:30. Then your doubleheader with Liga MX at 6 and 8. Universo has your triple header for those that want to watch the Premier League in Spanish. Southampton, Manchester United, Brighton, Leeds, Arsenal, Fulham. They've got Chivas and Pumas at 10 o'clock on Saturday. Univision has MLS and Liga MX. Out of Football has Serie A Femenil. ESPN Plus. Strap yourself in for this one. Bundesliga, Bundesliga 2, Eredivisie, Championship, FFA Cup from Australia. Bam, that's at 1 o'clock our time on Saturday morning. La Liga Santander, La Liga Smart Bank, MLS, College, USL, USL League One. Paramount Plus, Argentine Primera, starting at noon. Brasileiro, Serie A, and WSL. Peacock has the Premier League and Liga MX, and the SEC Plus has college soccer. So a lot to view, and a lot for us, and a lot for you. And once again, thanks everybody who has been a part of it today. Now the Australian Cup. Thanks for the heads up. Sorry, I was reading the banner from what Soccer America said, and great that Bern. Good to see you. Glad that you're back in and hanging out with us on the Twitch pitch. So let me go back before we go and see if there's anything that I missed. And Bam, I will tell Michael and Greg that they hope that they can bring Beyond Goals to Australia one day. 11 hours ago, LAFC did an international hat box, which could mean they're about to sign Tello. And then Burned having the conversation with Bam about Fall and Cherundolo and LAFC. So Alex Basine, before that, the record was Miggy. Before that, Michael Owen. Before that, it was Alan Shearer. Yeah, what a world record time in 15 minutes. Great conversation with Byrne and Bam about Steve Cherundolo. And let's see, spending most time at Villarreal's B Team La Liga 2, but Udi Ibiza away would be great. And so, Bam, thanks for the heads up, as it is now 12:24 for you on a Friday night. So for me, it is going to be high school football tonight, 7 o'clock recruiting 2022 on GPB Sports, GPB TV, the GPB Sports app. 7:30, it is Crisp and Westlake, and that'll be fun from the Lions Den tonight with Crisp and everybody coming north from Cordele from exits 100 and 101 to play Westlake tonight. Crisp is a AAA school, and they'll play anybody, any place, anytime, and twice on Tuesday. So Crisp and Westlake tonight. Westlake lost in their first game of the year to North Cobb, and once again, they're challenging folks just as well. It's the return of Rico Zachary to high school coaching here in the state of Georgia, and we'll see what is up with Westlake and Crisp County tonight at 7:30. The replay of both Recruiting 2022 and the game comes after the post-game show with Hannah Gooden and myself. Miss you at West Forsyth. Let's see, Alex, MHS at West Forsyth tonight. Not looking forward to that drive. I would imagine you need to start once the show is over. MHS at West Forsyth. So start now. Yeah. So once the show is over, start your drive. Get to West Forsyth. You might get there by kickoff. So thanks to everybody who has been with us again this week, and we'll do it again next week. So once again, it's the twos on ESPN Plus. It's 7:30 tomorrow night. And then it is Atlanta United and DC. Must win. Got to have it to keep pace with everybody, because you know that you're going to Chester in the midweek. So it's big stuff for Atlanta United as the number of matches dwindle to see where things finish at the end of the season. So for everybody here at SDH, for Jason, for Jarrett, for Nick, I'm just John. Play it safe, everybody. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy all of your games. Enjoy your tailgating if you are so inclined before your match of choice. Be safe, and we will catch up with you back here on Monday for all of your reactions across the board in a very, very busy weekend across the board here in the world of soccer. So thanks to Eliminize, thanks to Kickoff Coffee, thanks to you for hanging out with us. So that means it's the end of the show, which means I do this. Mucha plata, y'all.